Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Ranjana.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
युगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की. Can I get Bhagavatam? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayana Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Shurayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhakti Naishtiki.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 12. Rahugana converses with Jada Bharat. Text number 11. Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
Anantaram Tvabhir Brahma Satyam
Anantaram Tvabhi Brahma Satyam
Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam
Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam
Yad Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti
Yad Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti
Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
Anantaram Tvabhir Brahma Satyam
Anantaram Tvabhi Brahma Satyam
Pratyak Prashantma Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam
Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam
Yad Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti
Yad Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti
Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
Anantaram Tvabhir Brahma Satyam
Anantaram Tvabhi Brahma Satyam
Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam
Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam
Yad Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti
Yad Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti
ज्ञानं विशुद्धं परमार्थमेकं
Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
अनन्तरं ब्रह्म सत्यं
Anantaram Tvabhi
Brahma Satyam
सत्योपसन्तं भगवत् शब्दसङ्गं
Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam
यद्वासुदेवं कवयो वदन्ति
Yad Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti
Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
Antaram Tav Avir Brahma Satyam
Anantaram Tvabhir Brahma Satyam
Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam
Pratyak Prashantam Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam
Yad Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti
Yad Vasudevam Kavayo Vadanti. What to
विशुद्धं परमार्थमेकं
Jnanam Vishuddham Paramarthamekam
अनन्तरं
अथवा बहिर्ब्रह्म सत्यम्
अनन्तरं ब्रह्म सत्यं
प्रत्यक्प्रशान्तां भगवच्छब्दसमख्यं
प्रशान्तं भगवच्छब्दसंज्ञं
यद्वासुदेवं कवयो वदन्ति
यद्वासुदेवं कवयो वदन्ति. Word to word meaning: Jnanam, the supreme knowledge. Vishuddham, without contamination. Paramartham, giving the ultimate goal of life. Ekam, unified. Anantaram, without interior unbroken. Tu, also. Abahi, without exterior. Brahma, the supreme. Satyam, absolute truth. Pratyak, inner. Prashantam, the calm and peaceful Supreme Lord, worshipped by the yogis. Bhagavat Shabda Sangyam, known in the higher sense as Bhagavan, or full of all opulences. Yet, that Vasudevam, Lord Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Kavayaha, the learned scholars. Vadanti, say. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation: what then is the ultimate truth? The answer is that non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. It is devoid of the contamination of material qualities. It gives us liberation. It is the one without a second, all-pervading and beyond imagination. The first realization of that knowledge is Brahman, then Paramatma, the Super Soul, is realized by the yogis who try to see him without grievance. This is the second state of realization. Finally, full realization of the same supreme knowledge is realized in the Supreme Person. All learned scholars describe the Supreme Person as Vasudeva, the cause of Brahman, Paramatma and others. Purport: in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Yad Advaitam Brahmopanishadi Tad Apyayasya Tanubha. The impersonal Brahman effulgence of the Absolute Truth consists of the bodily rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ya Atmantaryami Purusha iti so Shyamsha Vibhavaha. What is known as Atma and Antaryami, the Super Soul, is but an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shad Aishwaryaihi Purno Ya Iha Bhagavan Sa Swayam Ayam. What is described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, complete with all six opulences, is Vasudeva. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from him. Great learned scholars and philosophers accept this after many births. Vasudevaha Sarvam Iti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. The wise man can understand that ultimately Vasudeva, Krishna, is the cause of Brahman and Paramatma, the Super Soul. Thus Vasudeva is Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. The real Tattva, absolute truth, is Bhagavan. But due to incomplete realization of the absolute truth, people sometimes describe the same Vishnu as impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma. Ved vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam vyajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. From the very beginning, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Satyam param dhimahi. We meditate on the supreme truth. The supreme truth is explained here as Jnanam Vishuddham Satyam. The absolute truth is devoid of material contamination and is transcendental to the material qualities. It gives all spiritual success and liberation from this material world. That supreme absolute truth is Krishna, Vasudeva. There is no difference between Krishna's inner self and outward body. Krishna is Purna, the complete whole. There is no distinction between his body and soul as there is between ours. Sometimes so-called scholars, not knowing the constitutional position of Krishna, mislead people by saying that the Krishna within is different from the Krishna without. When Krishna says, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, so-called scholars advise the reader that it is not the person Krishna to whom we must surrender but the Krishna within. So-called scholars, Mayavadis, cannot understand Krishna with their poor fund of knowledge. One should therefore approach an authorized person to understand Krishna. The spiritual master has actually seen Krishna. Therefore, he can explain him properly. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Without approaching an authorized person, one cannot understand Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for giving me once again this opportunity to recite and discuss about Bhagavatam. So while discussing, there may be many things which are beyond my realization, beyond my authority to speak. But since as a service I'll try to do. So if there are any negligence in the philosophy or the understanding, please feel free to correct me. And if there is any good, it's only by the mercy of my superiors, spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. So we'll see. So this verse number 11, canto 5. So in the previous chapter, we have seen that Jad Bharat, with his, he gives very good answers to Maharaj Raghugana, whatever he asked. Very sharp, intelligent, and enlightening answers. So by hearing these answers, so Maharaj Raghugana completely surrendered to Jad Bharat. But still, he is not able to understand completely whatever is given. So he inquired further. He asked once again, "Oh, my dear Gurudev, please explain me once again. I want to get more deeper understanding. Please explain a simplified way so that I can understand." So Jad Bharat again in this chapter, he starts speaking, gives the same knowledge once again in a more simplified way so that Maharaj Raghugan can understand. So if you see the whole chapter, if you see whenever any transcendental knowledge is being given from the spiritual master to the disciple, so there is one particular pattern is followed. Here also you see the same pattern. So how Jad Bharat first chastises Rahugana. Same we can see in Bhagavad Gita also. So Krishna chastises Arjuna, you are a fool. You are thinking you are a knowledgeable person, but you are not. So same thing happened here also. Jad Bharat chastising Maharaj Raghugana. You are thinking you are a great person, but you are a fool. So your palanquin carriers are there, and you are taking their service without any payment. This is completely abominable. This is not right. So here Maharaj Raghugana was being tested by Jad Bharat. So if one is questioning like in a competitive way, without any submissiveness, so it says that he is not a right person to receive the transcendental knowledge. So Jad Bharat is testing Maharaj Raghugana, whether he'll chastise him back if I chastise him, or he'll submissively hear, so that he can be qualified to get more confidential knowledge. So basically it's a challenging mood. So there shouldn't be any challenging mood. A person should be open-minded to receive this confidential knowledge. In fact, if we see in all in our lives, if we in the schools, colleges, so what do we do first to get the knowledge? We sit in the class, hear nicely, and then ask questions. But in the spiritual life, generally it is not followed. Without understanding, people ask questions. God does not exist. So can you show me God? Without reading any scriptures, people follow this, just asking questions. So this is just as foolishness or childish play. So without reading the scriptures, without inquiring, without reading the scriptures, without hearing the lectures from the scripture, people just ask questions. Can you see, show me God? Have you seen God? So it's completely foolish and childish. So one should learn knowledge. That is, first we have to sit and hear from the teacher. And then we have the right to ask question. So Prabhupada quotes one of his lectures. So even if a person is asking without hearing the knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master, asking question about absolute truth, even if we give the answer also, it will be just spilled out. So there will be no question of this thing, because there is no submissiveness, just keeps on speaking and answering. So in Prabhupada, in one of his lectures, he tells one story. So spiritual master is there and the disciple is there. So spiritual master gives him small activity. So spiritual master asks him to hold the glass, and disciple hold the glass, and he keeps on putting the water in the glass to such an extent that water is keep flowing. And the disciple asked, Guru Maharaj, what are you doing? Water is flowing, water is wasting. Then Guru told, this is your situation. If a person thinks, I am overflowing with the knowledge, I know everything, then he is not a right candidate to get the confidential knowledge. So when one has this submissive mood, always feeling humble that I don't know anything, so that is the right attitude, one can receive the knowledge. If one thinks that I know everything, so you have this pride. So this pride makes the heart very hard. So when the heart is very hard, so the confidential spiritual knowledge cannot pass through that heart. So it cannot enter. So after speaking little harshly by Jadabharat to Maharaj Rahugana, so he gives the knowledge of temporary world. So how this material world is temporary, all the stuffs, till previous verse. From this verse onwards, so Jadabharat speaks the transcendental knowledge. So what is this spiritual life, everything. So he says here, when then is the ultimate truth. We've seen the previous verse. So the translation goes like this. Since this universe has no real ultimate existence, the things within it, shortness, differences, grossness, etc., living symptoms and materials are all imagined. They are all parts made of the same substance, earth, but they are named differently. The differences are characterized by the substance, nature, predestination, time and activity. You should know that all these are simply mechanical manifestations created by material nature. So from this verse onwards, verse number 11, so Jadabharat starts giving transcendental knowledge. So everything what he has described is temporary. Then what is that ultimate truth? Here is the translation. What then is the ultimate truth? The answer is that non-dual knowledge is the ultimate truth. How it is? It is devoid of the contamination of material qualities. What it does? It gives us liberation. It is the one without a second, all pervading and beyond imagination. So how one can understand this? There are three ways. So one can understand through his law, the absolute truth as Brahman or Paramatma or Bhagavan. So all learned scholars describe the Supreme Person as Vasudeva, the cause of Brahman, Paramatma and others. So whatever understanding is there, Brahman, Paramatma. So the source of all this is Krishna or Vasudeva, the Supreme Person, Bhagavan. So he is the source of all this. So from this verse onwards, we can understand that spiritual knowledge starts giving by Jadabharat to Maharaj Rahugana. So it gives, so there are various people understand this world in a various ways. So understand the spiritual knowledge also in a various ways, depending on their mental conception or mind. So there is a nice saying, right? We read it. This world is a mirror of our consciousness or our mind. So Srimad Bhagavatam says, Atmavan manyate jagat. As you are, we see the world as it is. How we think, the world is also same. So it's very interesting to see we are living the same world, but our perception is different. Our conception of this world is completely different. So in this way, when people come even to Krishna consciousness, to our society, so they give their own perceptions about the Lord, about the scriptures, about the spiritual life, everything. So regarding this, there is a nice sloka in Bhagavad Gita. So in second chapter, it says, Ascharyavat pasyati kaschidenam, Ascharyavat vadati tataiva chanyaha, Ascharyavat chainam anyas shrunoti, Struvapi enam vedana chaiva kaschit. So this sloka is known as wonderful sloka. So the translation goes like this. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. So this is called wonderful verse. So people have various conceptions of various things. So in the spiritual life also. So by this spiritual life, with our mundane sense or logic and reasoning, so we cannot understand. So the sloka says, so it's wonderful. Soul is different. People understand the soul as different ways, but they cannot come to the ultimate knowledge, conclusive knowledge about the soul by just these mundane senses or our conceptions. So there's a nice pastime. So between Madhvacharya and one atheist. So atheist is speaking to Madhvacharya. Oh Acharya, so you all give knowledge from scriptures about the existence of the God, vagera, vagera. You take the knowledge from the scriptures as it is. But the thing is, I don't believe in scriptures. So I don't believe in the scriptures. Then what is the proof that you can show me that there is existence of God? Then Madhvacharya starts replying in this way. Okay, you don't believe in the scriptures, okay. But you believe in the mind? You believe in intelligence? Yes, I believe that. So with this, my intelligence, I use my mind and discover. You believe in intelligence? Very nice. So if you believe in intelligence, so you give some logic that you don't believe in the God or there is some existence of the God. So I give some other logic and reasoning that there is existence of the God. So you give one more logic, better logic and better reasoning that there is existence of the God or there does not existence of the God. So similarly, I can give better logic. So in this way, we can give more and more better logic and reasoning whether the Lord exists or not. So there is a gradation of knowledge, okay, we can improve. But Madhvacharya asks, okay, we are just going on with the logic and reasoning. But what is the proof that we are coming to the conclusion of the ultimate truth about the Lord? It's just our mental conception or thinking process. We cannot, there is no proof that we are talking about the absolute truth, that we are coming to the conclusion of the absolute truth. So then Madhvacharya says, see, this logic and reasoning, we cannot come to the absolute truth. So therefore, we need some knowledge which is coming from the transcendental platform, Apaurushaya, from the Lord himself. Since we cannot understand the transcendental subject matters with our mundane senses, we need that knowledge from the Lord himself, from the transcendental source, so that we can understand. So there is a nice sloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So where it says, we already read in our FOI sessions. So this is the reference which we are taking. This comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila chapter 2, text 86. So this is Brahma Pramada Vipralipsa Karna Patava Ashra Vigna Vakya Nahi Doshasya Ei Sava. So mistakes, illusions, cheating and defective perceptions are within us, but these do not occur in the sayings of the authoritative sages. So authoritative sages are the ones who seen Krishna, who know Krishna. So when they write the scriptures, there are no these four defects. So what are those? Mistakes, illusion, cheating and defective perception. So these are not near in the realization of the sages, learned sages. So when they give this knowledge, it is truth. So we have to accept the truth as it is to understand the ultimate truth of life. So as we are discussing, so people have different conceptions of various things in this material world, and not about the world also. And when they come to the scriptures also, they give their own understanding. They also see scriptures in a different way. Some such people are like envious people. So envious people say, so Prabhupada quotes in the purport also, so Krishna within is different and Krishna without is different. So when Krishna says this Manmana Mahavad Bhakto, these envious people misinterpret in such a way that they say, so Krishna is telling, not the person the outside, the Krishna within. So people cannot understand, envious people cannot understand the knowledge properly. So they give their understanding. Since I am different from this body, Krishna also may be same. So Krishna outside is different, inside is different. So that's why Krishna is telling, we have to hear him within, not without. And because of their envious nature, they distort the scriptures and cannot get the clear understanding of the scriptures. So there was one person who written Ramayana. So in this Ramayana, he gives this knowledge, or he makes a statement that Hanuman is the actual hero of Ramayana, not Lord Ram. So how? So there he says, Hanuman is actually not a monkey. He's a stout and strong person. He's from Dravid Desh, South India. He's dark. He's very, very strong. So how is a hero? So when building Ram Setu also, he's the one who did the major work. So he's the one. And while crossing the ocean also, it does not mean that he's flowing above the ocean. No, he's a fast swimmer. So people think he's flowing on the ocean, going on the other side. And one people think that Hanuman got the mountain. So when Lakshman was unconscious. So when Lakshman was unconscious, even Lord Ram is not able to do anything. Then Hanuman went. He didn't get the mountain. He got a number of herbs which can cure the Lakshman. So in this way, he's spreading various things. This means he's basically telling is how it is impossible to bring a mountain. It's very unnatural. But what Hanuman is doing, he's bringing various kinds of all the herbs, so which can cure Lakshman. Since it's in huge quantity, people are thinking maybe it is like a huge mountain. So to make it a more dramatic, so Valmiki has given like this. So in this way, people just distort the actual understanding of the scriptures because of this envious nature. And one more thing, they cannot understand, they cannot even believe, oh really Hanuman could bring the whole mountain. It's completely, beyond their understanding. So that's why they bring scriptures or the absolute knowledge to their level, to our level. Since they cannot understand this, they drag the scriptures to our level. So in one of the lecture, so Prabhupada quotes this. So this misinterpretation of the people or envious people is like this. So now we are in the temple hall. So there is ant. So what an ant can understand about this temple hall? What can understand? So before starting a Bhagavatam class, we had Guru Puja, awareness Guru Puja. Maybe ant was thinking there was earthquake here. Devotees are dancing. The whole floor is shaking like anything. And there is a tsunami, a rainfall also. Devotees are sweating. So the knowledge of ant is like this. He cannot understand. He cannot understand there are some higher powers. So similarly, these people also cannot understand there are some higher powers. So they have some conception, some knowledge of the scriptures. Since they cannot understand, they bring or drag the scriptures or the Lord to their level. So this is what the misconception they do have this. So what about this higher powers? Like we have seen demigods, all this. Higher powers means there we can have this three kleshas: Adhyatmika, Adidaivika, Adibhautika. So Adidaivika means we know that demigods are the one who are doing these calamities because of sinful reactions done by the people on this world. So how to come out of this? So Krishna says we have to follow the yajna. So you have to practice yajna to get peaceful life now and in the next life also. As we are discussing, so there are various kinds of people giving their own perceptions. So another example Prabhupada gives is like wearing color glasses. If we wear a yellow color glass, we see everything around as in yellow. And when we wear any black glasses, everything is black. But when we wear opaque glasses, nothing we can see. Nothing is there. So similarly, people are like this. Avajananti ma mudaha. So these people are like having opaque glasses. So they cannot understand God. Some people bring Lord to their level. That is one thing. Others, they cannot even see the Lord also. So those people are like having these opaque glasses. So like atheist, demonic people, like Hiranyakashipu, Shishupal. So they blaspheme the law, anything. So those who are this envious of this, having this envious nature of the Lord and the scriptures, finally they will be destroyed, annihilated. So we can see in the Shishupal also, he blasphemed the Lord so much. So finally got destroyed. Hiranyakashipu, all the demons if you see. So if anyone is having this envious nature, atheistic mentality, so we can conclude they're demonic people. And Lord will be destroying them in future, for sure. So one such category of people whom we are telling, so having people have various conception, are like this impersonalist or Mayavadis. So some have these people have at least some understanding about the spirit, about the matter. So we, the spirit souls, are different from the matter. So how we become entangled in this material world? because of this material desires. So because of this material desires, I'm completely entangled in this material world. Then how to come out of it? If I don't have any desires, cut off all the desires. Then what happens? If I cut off all the desires, then I can become God. So this their understanding, Mayadeva's understanding. So they have nice shloka. Dandam matra dharena naro narayanam bhavet. If can just hold danda, or one becomes sannyasi. So even a mundane, normal person also can become Lord. He can become Narayan. So this is their understanding. And how? Then it's various things, how people have different conceptions of the Lord and the scriptures in various different ways. But how to understand the Lord and the scriptures in a proper way? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Idam tute guhyatamam prakshavi anushuyave jnana vijnana sahitam yajnanam mokshasya shubhat. So how to understand? So translation goes like this. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of this material existence." So what Krishna is telling, how to understand this transcendental knowledge? One should be non-envious of Krishna. "Oh Arjuna, you are non-envious of me. That's why I am giving you this wonderful confidential knowledge." So in this confidential, there is confidential knowledge, there is more confidential knowledge, and there is most confidential knowledge. So what is this confidential knowledge? Understanding I am spirit soul, not this matter. I am not this body. What is more confidential knowledge? So more confidential knowledge means I am spirit soul, not this matter, but I am part and parcel of Krishna, who is the source of everything. And what is most confidential knowledge? So Krishna says this 9th chapter, Maya dakshena prakriti. So he's telling, I am the creator, maintainer and destroyer of the entire creation. And we are part and parcels of Krishna, and we are meant to serve Krishna. So this is the most confidential knowledge. So this is very nice, you are understanding me. So how to achieve him? So to achieve Krishna, to attain Krishna is very easy. So what should be done? So Krishna says, don't follow all the other stuffs. Don't follow all the process. Don't go to even demigods also. Because the process is very, very difficult. Then how to approach Krishna? There is even easier method. Just do devotional service. By just rendering devotional service to Krishna, so we can attain Krishna. So the process is very, very simple. So Krishna says in 9th chapter, verse number 26, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhakta prachati. So whoever offers me with love and devotion, Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, water, leaf, flower and fruit. Whoever offers these small things with love and devotion, I accept this. So Krishna is so anxious and eager to accept the love of the devotees that is even ready to accept the flower also. Flower. We just offer to the Lord, we don't take. So Krishna is even ready to take even the flower. So in this regard, we have the pastime of Vidurani, the wife of Vidura. So when Krishna entered the house of Vidura, then Vidura is not there, so Vidurani is there. So she wants to render some service to Krishna. She wants to feed Krishna. So she started with that anxiety, that love. So she forgot what she is feeding to Krishna also. She is opening the peels of banana, throwing the banana pulp outside, and she is feeding the pulp outside peel. And Krishna is eating nicely. Oh, yummy, very nice. So here you can understand Krishna likes the devotion. So whatever we give, so if we give with love and devotion, Krishna accepts this. So this is a very, very simple process. And devotees are very, very dear to the Lord. So Krishna says, with his non-partial mentality, he created this world. But still he is very, very dear to the devotees. And devotees are very, very dear to the Lord. So how? So in the 9th chapter only, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Apiche suduracharo bhajate maam ananyabhag sadureva samantavya samyak vyavasitositha. If one is determined, fixed in his devotional service, but somehow or the other he missed or even does even more abominable action, sinful activity, he should be considered a sadhu. Because he is determined, is fixed in his devotional service. Because of his material nature, whatever the thing. Sometimes he may be falling down, but still he should be considered as sadhu only. So why? Next sloka he says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigachyati kaunteya prajani name bhakta pranashyati kshipram. Immediately he will becomes dharmatma. So he'll become dharmatma. So he'll come back to the path very quickly and will attain full peace. So Arjuna, go and tell the whole world. Because we know Krishna, when Krishna gives the word, he may not. But when his devotee gives the word, so he will follow his devotee's words. So he's telling Arjuna, you declare, Maname Bhakta Pranashyati, my devotees will never perish. So in this way, Krishna is telling or imposing yourselves, I am partial to my devotees. I am very, very dear to my devotees. Even though sometimes they may fall down. But the condition is here, they should be fixed in this devotional service. Then Krishna will personally take care of that devotee. So this is the most confidential knowledge which Krishna is giving the 9th chapter. So till 9th chapter, the question answer is going on. So Arjuna is asking questions, so Krishna is giving. So after telling this 9th chapter, Krishna, he is saying at Arjuna, so inquisitively, so with so much eagerness he is hearing more and more, without enviousness. So without even Arjuna asking the question, so Krishna starts 10th chapter, giving the opulences of the Lord, how great he is. So non-enviousness is the key which we can understand. So to understand the knowledge of the absolute truth. So the more we become non-envious, the more we can understand the deeper aspects of the transcendental knowledge. So it's a gradual process, slowly we try to come out of this envious nature. And the way or the more we become non-envious to the Lord, to the scriptures, to the devotees, to that extent so we can understand this transcendental knowledge. And initially it's not required also. If initially at least we can surrender to the spiritual master Krishna, so this knowledge will be revealed. And there is a nice glory of this transcendental knowledge. So we are talking about transcendental knowledge. So what is this great transcendental? What are the glories? So Krishna gives in the 4th chapter. So the title of the chapter is Transcendental Knowledge. So one, by taking the shelter or attaining this transcendental knowledge, so one can come out of this material world, material pangs. So in one sloka in 4th chapter, so Krishna says this, even if one is a sinner of the most sinners, if he gains this transcendental knowledge, he can come out. So he says, Api cheti asi papebhyah sarvabhyah papakrit kritabah sarvam jnana plavenaiva vijrunam shantarishyasi. So translation goes like this. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So Krishna gives 2 examples of this transcendental knowledge. So transcendental knowledge is like a boat. So when we have this boat, when we are flowing on the ocean of material existence, when we get this boat of transcendental knowledge, we can climb that boat and cross over this notion of this material existence. So one example Krishna gives like this transcendental knowledge is compared to like a boat in the ocean of material existence. So other example in the next sloka immediately. So Krishna says, Yathai dasmi samsiddhognir basmashat kurute rajuna jnanagnihi sarva karmani basmasat kurute tatha. So the next sloka, Krishna compares this transcendental knowledge is like a fire. So how does it act? As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes. Oh Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge of this transcendental knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. So this transcendental knowledge is also compared to fire, which burns our material reactions, actions and reactions, and helps us to come out of this material conception of life and go back home, back to Godhead. After understanding all these stuffs, what is transcendental knowledge, how to receive the knowledge from the spiritual master, still there are many dangers in the spiritual life. So it's categorized into 2. So one is, so dangers means like a deviance in the spiritual knowledge. So there's like 2 things. Like one is people follow this reflective religion, and the other thing is popular religion. So reflective religion means people say this like Vedantist. So we get the knowledge only through the scriptures, by reading them or by scientifically applying them, without any practice of bhakti or angas of bhakti. So they say we have to go to the forest and stay there, read the scriptures more and more. And we shouldn't stay with the people around. We have to go to the forest, do all these stuffs. Means basically they are too intellectual, completely intellectual, the mental speculators, too intellectuals. And the other thing is popular religion. So they say they are too emotional. So do whatever your mind says. So these are that kind, without any knowledge from the scriptures. So whatever you want, you do. If you want to knowledge of scriptures or know the absolute truth, there's this thing, right? Sensual perception. I forgot that word. So there's one bogus institute which says, so by just engaging sense enjoyment, you'll come to moksha, you'll get liberation. So like this. So these people comes under this popular religion. So do whatever your mind says. You come to this ultimate truth. So completely too emotional or completely too intellectual. So how to maintain this? But the real religion is balance of the both. Intellectuality should be there and also emotions to the Lord. So learn knowledge from the scriptures and also practice of emotion, that is bhakti towards the Lord with emotions. So both should be gone in a proper way, in a balanced way. So even Prabhupada says in his purports and the lectures. So when just read the scriptures intellectually and not practicing what is given, following the limbs of bhakti is not a mental speculator. On the other way, one is just following the rituals, but not reading the scriptures, is just too sentimentalist. So proper or real religion is having the balance of both discrimination power based on the scriptures and also proper following of what is given in the scriptures, or the angas of bhakti. So for this real religion, the balance of bhakti, so we can see the one nice pastime from Chaitanya Leela. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so when he's dancing and singing, so his glories were spread all over the India. So everyone is getting to know there is a sannyasi known as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, young Chaitanya. So by just seeing his dance and chanting, people are becoming devotees of the Lord. All these stuffs. So this knowledge was spread even to Kashi. So there is a famous sannyasi Prakashananda Saraswati, Mayavadi sannyasi. So he also got to know about this person, about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then he started making these comments. So this sannyasi is like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like a sentimentalist. He does not know Vedanta, nothing, just chanting and dancing. This is not a proper way. And this got into the ears of the devotees of the Lord Chaitanya. So they are not able to tolerate this. So they want to make some meeting between Mahaprabhu and the Prakashananda Saraswati sannyasis and make profound. This chanting is the most important thing. One has to learn, take up this bhakti movement. So this Brahmana went and spoke to the sannyasi Prakashananda and made a small meeting. And then Mahaprabhu went to the association of all these Mayavad sannyasis. And Mahaprabhu showed such a wonderful humility. So when he went to the association of all the sannyasis, he sat at the place where people wash their feet. And all the sannyasis, Prakashan and Saraswati, looked at this, oh, what's happening here? He went to the Mahaprabhu and asked, Mahaprabhu, you're sannyasi, you are to be given an elevated position. So you have to read scriptures. Why are you sitting here? Then Mahaprabhu replied in this way. So my Guru Maharaj told, I am a fool. I cannot understand scriptures. So what should I do? I should simply chant Hare Krishna. So this is what my Guru Maharaj has told me. And why to chant Hare Krishna? So Mahaprabhu gives a proper logic and reasoning from the scriptures. From the scriptures, everything. So why to chant Hare Krishna? So in this way we can see, so there is a follow by chanting Hare Krishna one has to do, and based logic and reasoning also there from the scriptures, not from the mental speculation. So we can see how proper religion or real religion, both the having the emotions, simultaneously having the proper reasoning, logic from the scriptures, why it should be done. So another example, the opposite way. If we don't, in the other way. So if we just be intellectual, too extremist in just reading scriptures, not following the rules, regulations, just being intellectual, there is one other way. So Mayavadis. The other way is another example from the same Chaitanya Leela. So when Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan, so Balabhadra Bhattacharya accompanied Mahaprabhu. So on one day, Balabhadra Bhattacharya told Mahaprabhu, so there people are going to see Krishna. I also want to grow. And after hearing, so Mahaprabhu gave a tight slap to Balabhadra Bhattacharya. What are you saying here? Jhapata marila. He got tight slap. Then why he came? Then he told. Then he went and got the clear clarification that all the people in Vrindavan, so there is Yamuna flowing, and there is in the night they are seeing some boatman coming on the boat, and some lightning, everything is there. So they thought that it's like boat is like a Kaliya, and the person above is the boatman is like Krishna. So misunderstood somehow in the night, right? They cannot see properly also. So they misunderstood he's a Krishna on the Kaliya. So that's what even Balabhadra Bhattacharya told to Mahaprabhu, this is not right. Then later he got to know. All the people of Vrindavan Vasi, they got to know, oh, this is not Krishna, he's a boatman on the boat coming in the Yamuna. So then we have to use our discrimination also. So Prabhupada says both the times. So Prabhupada says we have to use our intelligence even when we are in the devotee association, when we are hearing from the spiritual master. We have to use our discrimination power, intelligence. And the other side, Krishna says in 10th chapter, 10th verse, so whoever intends in my devotion service, even if they are not getting the knowledge, as Paramatma, I give them the intelligence. Dadami bhukti yogam tam. Even if they are not able to understand this intelligence properly, I'll give the intelligence. Means Krishna is telling both the ways. Even if you are not able to understand, if you practice nicely, I'll give you the intelligence. And simultaneously, Prabhupada says, so whenever we are in the devotee association or hearing from the spiritual master, we should use our discrimination power, intelligence. So balance of the spiritual life is what is important. So balance means not too extremist to be like a Vedantist, completely only reading the scriptures, not doing anything else, and not completely just following the rituals. We should have discrimination power also. So means balance of the spiritual life must be there, both reading scriptures and also practicing, having the emotions. So what are the emotions we can follow as a sadhaka? So our emotions to the Lord is gratitude and humility. So what is that gratitude? So Krishna has given this wonderful opportunity of Krishna consciousness through his associate Srila Prabhupada. We got this wonderful Mahamantra, association of devotees. So that's why even we are thinking, right, we have to go back home, back to Godhead, this very life. It's completely unimaginable in the world, in this Kali Yuga, at this particular point of time. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, so we got this wonderful opportunity. And thinking of going to Golok Vrindavan, which is highest. And anyone in the ISKCON who is practicing from quite some time, if you ask anyone, what is the goal of life? Going back to the spiritual goal, Golok Vrindavan, not even Vaikuntha, Golok Vrindavan. The intensity of the devotee may be different. He may be not practicing so much also, but the goal is fixed. Everyone knows this. Only by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So what are the emotions we can have? The one is the gratitude. So Prabhupada, Krishna has given me this wonderful opportunity, which I cannot even imagine, to go back home, back to Godhead. Got this wonderful opportunity. So I am able to get to practice this bhakti very nicely in the association of devotees and having a joyful life. And the other thing is humility. Krishna is huge, I am tiny. With this, all these anarthas, how can I understand Krishna? It's very, very difficult, this humility. So these are the two terms which I heard from my superiors. So these are the two initial emotions which we can have as of now as a sadhaka. Future emotions, all this astasiki, all these things will come later. All the eightfold, happiness, trembling of heart, body, tears flowing from the tears will come later point of time. As of now, we can have these emotions to the Lord to progress on the path of spiritual life. So I'd like to just summarize the whole discussion. So we have seen how Jadabharat repeatedly, once again, inquiring, Raghugana inquiring from Jadabharat to please explain me in a more simpler way. And Jadabharat starts giving the knowledge once again in a simpler way so that Maharaj can understand. So initially chastises Raghugana so that he is very capable or not to get the transcendental knowledge. So there we have understood. So we shouldn't have the challenging mood. And we shouldn't have the envious nature. We should be non-envious to understand or get this transcendental knowledge. So we here screen the reference from Bhagavad Gita also, how Arjuna is non-envious. So that's why Krishna is giving this wonderful transcendental knowledge. And after knowing this transcendental knowledge, so this transcendental knowledge will help a person to come out of this material existence also. So you have seen the reference from the 4th chapter. So and after having this wonderful knowledge also, there are various deviants in the association of devotees also. One is true extremist to the intellectual platform, and the others are true sentimentalists. So we have seen how the real religion means balance of the both, intellectual discrimination and both also following the sentiment or the emotions given. So in this way, we'd like to conclude today's discussion. Any questions? If there are. Okay. So then we can end. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की।